Hi, it's Dr. Evelyn here coming at you from El Granada, California. And this video is about how do you get the same results without chiropractic, okay? So this idea stemmed from a nutrition workshop that we did here at the office over this past weekend where we had a nutrition consultant coming and the question came up like, well, why are supplements so important and why do we feel like we need them? Can't we just eat healthy and then not utilize supplements? And she said, yes, you absolutely could. However, there are so many factors involved that the public isn't necessarily aware of. Like, not only do we need to make sure that we're getting adequate amounts of all of our nutrition, all of our vitamins, all of our minerals, and all of our macronutrients. But then we need to know where that's sourced from. Is that particular sprig of, broccoli, does it have the nutritional content that we expect out of a sprig of broccoli? Or has it been grown in inadequate soils? Has this lettuce been triple washed so many times that it doesn't contain any of the natural microbiomes and flora and fauna from the dirt that generally help us keep a healthy microbiome? Has there been sugar added to this? Has it been so processed that it no longer is recognizable by the body as a food? Is this stemming from a whole food? From these meats. What were they fed? Are they fed grass-fed or are they fed other diets? Because that constitutes and changes the constitution of the meat and the nutritional values of the meats. So she was just talking and talking about all these other factors that go into our basic nutrition and why it's getting harder for people to have super adequate nutrition by getting food from the grocery store that they think is healthy and natural. And she was just talking about how food, you can do it yourself if you have the time to prepare all of your food, grow a lot of your own food, eat it fresh and local, eating it in large and correct quantities. Then you can really maximize your health with food based off of, all of these things. However, in today's society is quite hard. They were showing the point that eating some supplements can make it easier for people to have a baseline of nutrition and how, why we didn't need these nutrients, to start with, right? Why do humans these days now need some more supplementation when in historically, we didn't need that supplementation as much? That made me start to think about why chiropractic and how chiropractic really helps our nervous system and what a person would have to do in order to not need chiropractic. Number one is activity level. Why did people start needing chiropractic? Well, around the Industrial Revolution, was the 1800s when chiropractic was developed. We were seeing a lot less people moving a ton, right? Now we have trains, now we have automobiles, now we have sitting assembly line jobs, right? We have factories. So people are not walking 10 miles a day on average in their daily life, not even trying to go for a walk, right? In the olden days, people didn't really need to exercise or train. They were lifting things, they were squatting, they were sleeping on the ground, they were moving all the time. They were squatting to use the bathroom, they were squatting to get down to bed, they were squatting while they were cooking. They were getting up and down, getting up and down, getting up and down. Some of the things that research has shown about people who live long lives, like these blue zone areas, they're people who still sit a lot on the ground. So they do get that mobility. They're very active. Secondly, we spent a lot more time in nature. So we were exposed to more of the natural bacteria that live in the earth that can help us digest, and our food came directly from the earth. We're getting a lot of the natural microbiome from our food, and we were way more connected to nature, which is also very grounding and peaceful for humans to do. And we know that forest bathing is a thing in Japan that has proven to reduce the amount of stress and health problems that people have. A big one, stress, right? The most stressed that you would have been as a human being, as a, Homo sapien, is that you would see a tiger or a predator or something, you'd have to kill it or run away or maybe die. But then it was over and you came back to the cave, and then you were just chilling. It was over. It wasn't a constant stream of information coming at you through multiple screens all day long. We were only responsible for like 100 other individuals, and now we feel the burdens of millions of people. So we have a ton more stresses and a ton more stimuli today. I believe the saying was like, we absorb or are exposed to more stimuli in an hour than an ancient human would have gotten in a year or even in their lifetime. So we're just exposed to so much more information. Fourth, social health. When, going back to this tribe, we had this tribe, we knew where we belonged. We had people that we knew our whole life who knew us. We had, they had our backs, we hunted together. We had common goals and lived together for the common good of the tribe. We don't have that as much now. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, but it really varies. As a population as a whole, we are in a lot smaller families, less people in our so to speak tribe, and a lot of that communication is happening virtually, right? A lot of our friends are on Facebook. They're not real people that we hug and see and laugh and share heart space and share electromagnetic information with. We're not smelling them, we're not sensing them, we're not touching them, we're not with them. And our social health is hugely important. That's another thing that they found out about the blue zones, is that these people that had a really healthy social life, it gave them a lot to live for. It gave them a lot of meaningfulness in their lives. And so that's another thing that we're missing in these days. Basically, a person who does not need frequent chiropractic would look like this. You need to be moving all day, every day, never sitting, rarely sitting, and when you are sitting, you're squatting. You need to be in nature for 5 hours a day minimum. You need to be eating fresh, local, organic food, particular, hopefully, that you've grown or caught yourself. You need to be living in the present moment, not concerned about the future, not concerned about the past, not concerned about anything that doesn't affect you or your kin directly. You need to have several best friends and several family members nearby whom you feel completely supported by and that you completely support. And you can't look at any screens. You can't be sitting there. This doesn't feel like your life, then you might need some help. Your nervous system is being exposed to so much more information than we were ever evolved to handle. Our DNA has not changed at all since Homo sapiens hundreds of thousands of years ago. It just hasn't. So we are operating with the same operating systems that ancient peoples who lived in the wilderness and tribes did. And we are asking our bodies to do so much more. We're nourishing ourselves with the wrong things. We're overstimulated. We're overstressed. We are in chronic states of stress rather than fleeting, rare, occasional bursts of stress. Our gut microbiomes are off. We have computers, we have screens. So we're dealing with a lot more. So yes, the answer to the question I get often is sure. You do not need a chiropractor to live your best life. But here's how you need to live. Okay, now you don't need chiropractic. Okay. If you're anybody else, then it's fair to need a little bit of supplemental help in allowing yourself to move past that and allowing your body to have what it needs to heal and allow your body to express its full potential. I really hope that that gave you a new perspective to think about and to learn about yourself and your body, and to feel okay that maybe you need a little bit of extra help in coping with the stresses that life is giving us these days. And we have so many advancements, people do live longer. People we don't have a lot of the same diseases that people in the Industrial Revolution had, but it's a trade-off, that's for sure. We've traded a lot of things in order to have this sort of simulated architecture of our life. So one thing I also just want to say is that this is based on scientific research. It's based on certain books I've read. I read Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. I hope I'm saying that right. I also have a degree in biology where I studied a lot about human evolution and anthropology. So I really do have a strong background in thinking about this stuff, and I read a lot of studies that talk about this, but it is kind of a fun theoretical. Like, I've never done an experiment where I put someone out in the woods and made them do these things and then checked them for subluxation. So this is a little bit of a musing than some of my other videos that are a lot more like science physiology based. This one is more like, what if, All right, everybody. And this is again Dr. Evelyn, and keep an eye out for videos. Make sure you just subscribe to the channel. Keep it coming at ya. Take care.